Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2, two of the best that Korea has to offer. I believe this is from TSL 6, but all I know is it's a highlight of everyone's third favorite matchup behind ZVZ and PvP. Terran versus Zerg, and you should recognize these two players, especially if you've been around the block a few times, like many of us Starcraft fans like to remind those damn kids. Anyways, in the bottom left, one of the first MLG Starcraft 2 champions. And also back, he did his Korean military service, the dangerous obstacle for many players, at least in their professional careers. And he's back, and one of the few players having success after that. Dongregu. Or DRG, which is easier for sure. And in the top right, not the Danish Terran. I think he's Danish. But instead, the Korean Terran. Just a popular name. From Team Envy. Recently qualifying for Code S. More of a newcomer. It's Bunny. Bunny been making a splash. He's one of those, like, he's kind of a gatekeeper player. He was up there with what we would have called Cure, was the ultimate gatekeeper for a while, but he's kind of moved out of it. But Bunny is starting to become more of the player, like, you have to get through him. There's a chance he'll beat you. He probably won't, but he could beat anyone. Some days he's looking like he could be one of the top in the world, and some days, not as much. DRG, on the other hand, has his own particular style. He's been playing Mutiling Bane with, like, he was the original Raynor. He was playing with over 500 APM before Raynor was old enough to compete in WCS. He's actually, okay, this is your mythos, I guess. But DRG, there are plenty, you should look it up. First person of, just look it up, read a book. You won't find it in a book, probably. But DRG, also a piano player, or was that Lucero? I don't know, either way. One of them is really good on the keyboard. Looks really cool. Even more than your average, this is quite a tangent, but I remember watching DRG at Home Story Cup, like years ago. Not Home Story Cup 20, but 10, I believe. And just sitting there, his hands do... Wow, this is really not going to go over well in a cast. But he brings his fingers up super far off the keyboard, which is kind of weird, but, like, very precisely slaps them down again. I'm not describing it well. Like... Because usually you're not... Okay, that's enough of that. You get it. And he likes Mutiling Baneling. That's enough backstory. Anyways, Hellions. We're not talking about DRG's fingering skills on the keyboard, okay? We're talking about this Hellion Banshee against Zerglings with a later speed because DRG went for a quick third. Yeah, we gotta build up the lore for these players. I don't know if Bunny has any lore. I don't know much about Bunny. We can make some up. Maybe by the end of this we will. We will see. Hellion still going to work. Everything looks about exactly what you'd expect from a game like this so far. We have, honestly, this is almost painfully standard. This match could have been played at any time in the last 11 years. We have Hellion Banshee with a Reaper opener against 3 bases for Zerg, Zergling speed, and a few queens spreading creep. Literally, the last 11 years of Terran versus Zerg, this has been a standard build from both sides. I've casted this exact game in different expansions hundreds of times. We have the Banshees on the way. He's going to build a Spore Crawler at the front because he's delayed layer. There's a Roach Warren, but it's not a Roach all-in. He's building more drones. The Roach Warren's just kind of like, are you going Hellbats? Nope, not Hellbats. There's a third on the way, not particularly quick, but not particularly slow. Just right. getting it after he started his starport and everything. A medium time, like a medium rare command center, not like an undercooked one, not one where you're sitting there like with a Viking and that's it out of your starport, and also not trying to do some sort of quick 2-base and then building a third as kind of an admission you might not end the game. Spore Crawler coming up, Evo Chambers at the third, Banshees microing against the Queens, the drones are now vulnerable. Like, you could bring the Spore a little further. Come on. Have some ambition. Put it a little further. Bunny just refusing... Not Bunny. DRG refusing to bring the Spore Crawler far enough to really... Kind of an awkward exchange here. Everybody losing a little bit, but nobody losing... Jimmy. Oh my god. I tried to bring up the battle report. No battle report. Instant replay. As you can see here, the Spore Crawler moving, but really not... committing to much. Like, did you get tired? Karen, where's my Spore? It's over there. Somebody give it a Red Bull. We're not sponsored by them anymore. I believe DRG was sponsored by Red Bull, but that might just be complete Red bullshit. Is this Roach Ravager? Yes. Okay. The brick build. Roach Ravager are very reliant on timings. Of course, you can build way more Roach Ravager than you can build... I have no idea why. Maybe he just likes Roach Ravager. I'm kind of surprised to see it. Dark has been playing around with this lately as well. It's definitely more stable. It has a higher floor. Like, you're always going to do pretty well with it, but you're never going to do great. Like, there's only so much micro Roach Ravager can do. It's like microing a fishing boat. Like, you can catch some fish, but it's not going to outrun James Bond on a nuclear-powered kayak. Speaking of nuclear-powered kayaks, medevacs in the bottom right. Just kind of unloading. Waiting for their moment. Zoning out the fourth. Unfortunately, the fourth is on the other side. Eventually, the Marines will get here. Waiting for their moment, and for the Hellions to distract from the left side. They will successfully. The classic bait and switch. Money coming in with the Marines. DRG caught completely unawares. I am startled by how much damage this is doing. This is the oldest trick in the goddamn book. Like, the book... But it has had 7 or 8 different editions since they wrote this, but this part has remained unchanged. You hit them in the left. 20 drones? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. He hit them with the Hellions, the most obvious bait of all time. And then the Marines just come in, and I think some drones were killed by the Hellions as well. What is going on? DRG loses 20 drones. That's completely and utterly unacceptable. You cannot lose. The entire point of Roach Ravager is to just hold on like 60 drones and then slam them. You're not supposed to lose any drones. You have this much Roach Ravager. Well, I mean, he does have a lot of Roach Ravager. Is there enough defense? The Banshees just kind of chipping through. The tanks taking big chunks. But is there enough overall? The boys must be pulled. 1-1 done for both sides. Tanks down for the count. Banshee's still going to work. Hellbat show up to the party. They weren't invited, but they're here anyways. Classic Hellbat move. There's just not that many Marines. Not that... Well, 0 Marauders. The Banshee's still helping out a lot, but there's just not enough here. Meanwhile, 2 Marines on the other side. 2 brothers. Ambitious. Nope, that's not DRG. Okay, it's like... No, go home. These are our fellow Marines speaking to you here. Please, vacate the premises. We have it under control. Bunny, not gonna fall for that again. So 6 drones end up going down, and Bunny does lose. He loses 20 SCVs, okay? But 20 SCVs is way less of an impact than 20 drones, especially at this stage of the game. Mules, believe it or not, exist. DRG, a big fan of the F2 key here. We're not sure if it's Loco or DRG playing. Both of them seem to have about equal tier of micro and multitasking so far. But like and subscribe for more top tier mid-masters gameplay. Honestly, DRG should not be losing drones to this. There's no excuse for losing 20-something drones to Marines when you're going Roach Ravager. It is just a failure to multitask. There are now 14 mutas. Does Bunny smell the mutas? He does not. No turret. Oh, there's one in the very corner of the why? Of all the places, you're not defending against drops. Maybe he thinks it. That's kind of a weird turret to just have out there. He's defending against Overlord scouting. Okay, calm down. I didn't know this was actually platinum. An awkward game. There's a Reaper in the mix here. The Reaper, I guess, survived, and it will continue to do so. Meanwhile, come on, DRG! Are you kidding me? Well, loses the left side, but is there enough at home to defend? The mutas? The turrets will start. Bunny a little late on the draw there. SCVs are gonna die. There's... Oh, what? There's no turret in the main. Meanwhile, the Bio Army is stimming, but is it winning? Is there enough? 2-2 is on the way. He loads up into the Medivacs. The main is being ransacked by the Mutalisks. The Marauder trying to get involved, but as always, it's just getting in the way. Finally, a turret is actually done. 13 more SCVs going down. Bunny scrambling back, dropping off Marines in the wrong base, leaving the tanks completely exposed. Oh yeah, look who's home. Oh, the nice way. I'm sorry, I forgot my caster terms. This isn't a clusterfuck. What it is a scrappy game, okay? It's a scrappy game. That's what we say. As both these players are scrapping together basic defenses with poor reaction times, there's the mutas getting way too much done, but now it's kind of the opposite scenario, where you have DRG sitting back. He's done a lot of economic damage. In fact, he's tilted the economic lead more towards him. But here comes Bunny with a bio ball, looking to roll it all the way across the map and slam DRG into oblivion. In DRG, it's 2-2 versus 1-1 with a larger bio army. This does not bode well for the Zerg. The mutas killed a fourth base, not that Bunny could really mine from it. The worker counts are near 60 for both sides, which is not a huge... scrappy game! Scrappy game! Yes. Such scrap. That's exactly what Bunny meant to do, I'm sure. Just baiting DRG in. So now this exchange... Looks like DRG, he got +2 done. The mutas finally make their way back home. And Bunny has lost a critical mass of units for reasons that will remain unknown. We're going to take a pause. Okay, both of them playing on a Starlink connection. So, now this is Starcraft. It only makes sense. And that means... You know, that actually might have been the issue. Bunny is... He lost the vast majority of his units. And packets, apparently. And that would actually explain some of this. Meanwhile, DRG just ransacking what's left of the army. He has a nice amount of workers. He's now got his fourth base up and running. Everybody has to calm down after punching each other. Well, more like slapping each other in the face. They got their boxing gloves out, but they're kneeing each other in the groin instead, which I don't think is legal, but we will make it legal. It's like, wow, that's a weird stand to take, but here we are. 3-3 on the way for Bunny. Meanwhile, +1 melee and +2 carapace at opposite sides of finishing. The mutas looking... Eventually, like I said, DRG, a big fan of mutaling bling. I don't know why he was having this affair with Roach Ravager over here, but he's lucky it didn't cost him his ladder points and or his qualification. Finally, we've moved on to the real bread and buttered biscuit of Zerg. Muta, Lingbane. Yeah, the Ravagers are still hanging out. There's still a whole lot of bio. And he can't... Whoa, okay. Alright, he's going. He's going. We're going. Everyone's going. A lot of Roach Ravager. Main link speed is done. But unfortunately, they're kind of stuck behind the Ravagers, which is not the ideal location. The mutas are out in front. The main lings are behind the Ravagers, which is exactly the opposite of what should be happening. Another... DRG just kind of backs off. Was there a burrowed ling? No, he don't have burrow. He just had a ling there. Okay. Bunny has been allowed to make it back up to 170 supply. Mules are a hell of a thing. DRG now, though, maintaining a significant income advantage, at least until Bunny's able to mine from that fourth, as the main base is mining out, drying up. Thors, Widow Mines, now we've graduated to Heart of the Swarm, everyone. Drilling Claws on the way. Infestation pick coming up for DRG. As kicking and screaming, we will be dragged into the later game. The Thor likes to fly, but unfortunately, like your mother, far too heavy to do it on its own. I guess we are begrudgingly now at a bit of an impasse. Melee attack level 1. DRG with a smorgasbord. What a fun word. Also a little uncomfortable. Of upgrades. He's got +1, +2 for... Oh, we got a little going on here. Where Bunny is maxed out on upgrades in 10 seconds. +3 armor coming in. The banelings out in front, they just kind of die, as they have a tendency to do in that scenario. The Roach Ravager forced to tuck tail, or if they had tails, they have a tail to tell, but no tail to wag. And that means that Bunny might have this in the bag, as he's able to tag a few more Ravagers, and maybe, if he doesn't, he'll just complain again about lag. The Muta's on the other side. Another sensor tower, a couple turrets, not nearly enough to defend, but here comes Bunny. Terran! Oh, no! Whoa, 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 whoa! Okay, that got a little messy. The Muta's killed the fourth, but it looks like Bunny might kill DRG. The Marines getting thinned out a bit. Are there enough Mutas? There are 22 Mutas. There's not that many Marines, but the two Thors are kind of an issue. A scan spots that DRG's still going to maintain 4 bases despite this. One Widowmine shows up, drives back the whole Zerg army. Meanwhile, supplies are dangerously, even dangerous for DRG, as obviously he wants to be overwhelming the Terran in this scenario, and he might be able to do so. Widowmine finds a connection, but a little bit amusingly and partially ironically, Banelings in their cocoons have more armor than Banelings out of them, safe and protected, and the Widowmines will not kill them. The Ravager's a little off. Oh my god, what am I watching? Small Zergling counterattack, one very unlucky tank, gonna be overrun. The SCV is forced to retreat. DRG still under siege. Without everything but siege tanks, pretty much. The Zerglings find another base. This is the base formerly known as the main. Banelings rolling through. Thor's down for the count. Medevacs for all the Marines left over, which is not very many. The Mutas will hunt them down, slaughter them. Mutas badly bruised, they'll heal. And the Ravager count slowly dipping into nothingness. But they've held their own. They did what they needed to do. Not very well, and not very quickly, and not very efficiently, but they did what they needed to do. And DRG is still in the match. In fact, he's closing in. Well, a Hive is done. He just hasn't managed to get any Hive upgrades yet. He's been desperately trying to field an army to compete with what Bunny is sending across the map constantly. More Ling Bane added in. The Muta count is at 21, which is uncomfortably high, because once you go over 20, like once you have over 50 supply in Mutas, that is a lot you can lose in 2, 3, 4 Widowmines and a handful of Marines, but that's a lot of Mutaling Bane. The splits are good from both sides. The Widowmines not really connecting where they need to connect, and they hit the Overseers, which means the mines will survive and almost everything else will not. Here we are, Bunny down to 100 supply, but he's still got mining to an extent. 54 to 70 workers. The Widowmine's going to be dragged in towards the Thor, but the Thor kidnapped by the medevac. But it was a setup. He didn't actually get kidnapped. It was intentional. The Thor's doing a lot of damage to the Mutas, but the Muta's doing more damage to the Thor. The Zergling's coming in, 40 supply gap. The army supply is dangerously low, but Bunny able to retreat to his bases, and he has turrets. Oh, a bit of a mess. A bit. Okay, at least a bite of a mess. I apologize. Everyone just pulls back. Up. What? I think the little vision blocker there made the difference. There are still Widow Mines kind of... Some incredibly interactive gameplay happening on all sides of the map. Meanwhile, the Natural has been relocated, and the refugee SCVs will make their way over to mine from what we can kind of call a fifth base, but really a third in this scenario. Oh my god. That wasn't actually as good as I thought it was going to be. Still no Hive Tech upgrades at all. The Hive has done nothing for DRG. It exists. One Muta going down with this. 3-3 Marines are nothing to sneeze at, but a couple dozen Mutas are more than a sneeze. Everyone... the economies are too low to really keep punching each other in the face repeatedly here. There's just not enough income anymore. They're getting back to it. Bunny is now... Well, Bunny just dropped some mules. He's at 3,800 gas... 3,800 minerals, but only 50 gas a minute. But Marines only cost minerals, as do turrets and SCVs. Widow Mines barely cost gas, which is a tragedy. Widow Mines have kept DRG busy and whittled him down to the point where Bunny has been able to recover. And in fact, his army supply is about even with better upgrades now. Few more racks on the way. Bringing him up towards the Octo racks. 8 racks of production. Because he knows he has the minerals, but he doesn't have much else. DRG may have forgotten, because he's such a Mutiling Bane player, he may have forgotten what a Hive does. Which is unfortunate, because Bunny is becoming more and more cost-effective with his upgrades. Widow Mines find some more drones, and DRG is now mining again from his third, which was down for several minutes. The Muta's looking for an opportunity, but the Muta's, they're reaching their expiration date. They're just becoming more of a liability than something he can rely on. Mutas are just not that great in maxed out battles. They're for uneven combat. They murder innocent SCVs, they snipe medevacs, but in a straight up fight, it's a risk at best. Well, the barracks creating an artificial choke point. The Banelings rolling over, but they're not doing enough to stop the Marines. The Thor's helping out. 11 SCVs going down. Not a critical number yet. More Banelings gonna force micro back from Bunny. Trying to target down the Thor. Picks it up, drops it down. The hammer into the air. DRG commits to a fight, kills the workers, but loses the battle. And with it, maybe the war. And don't worry. Bunny with some counter damage. Widow Mines on the other side. Mutas! No! No! Some of the Mutas were left behind and slaughtered. Suddenly, Bunny, finally those upgrades kicking in. There's no detection. The mines recharge. The army intact, and the Terrans will march forward. Plenty of medevacs. A good position. Enough Marines. The Muta count is too low to be overly dangerous. The Widow Mines, before the fight even starts, it already ended. It's over. GG. Bunny takes it. DRG playing in the past, where Bunny looking towards the future. You can't just stay on that. Like, he went towards the Hive, he just never ended up... He never ended up making it there. Not a single one of those, despite the Hive being done for 5+ minutes. Probably more than that. Never finishing those upgrades. Well, what do you think? I thought Zerg couldn't lose against Terran, and then I watched anyone who wasn't Cyril. What do you think about people who aren't Cyril? Should they get good? Leave a comment. Like, subscribe, check out these videos. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun.